And we're live. Hey, everybody. Sorry we're a little late this evening. We're using a new platform. We decided to go live straight from YouTube instead of Facebook. So this is our first week doing that. So we had a few kinks to work out. But we're here now. Hi, Lydia. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. How was your week?
It was really busy. My site is finally up, guys. www.thetruestnorth.com. So I've been working on like content creation for that. I'm working very, very hard. Hope to have, I've got some things, some surprises, some treats planned for the next couple of weeks. So. It's up and running. I feel like it's official now.
Yeah, I had a chance to take a look at the website, guys. It's really, really nice. It's really, really nice. And then she's got all her services on there. And you can book readings with her. You can get other electronic readings. Like, it was really nice and well done. It was worth the wait.
Yeah. And I'm an astrologer for those who are wondering exactly what it is I do.
So I had a really good week as well. I had a little bit of perceived difficulty today. I don't know what it is about Sundays. It seems like every Sunday when we record, I've had kind of like at least a trying couple hours or a trying day or whatever. But my week was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I told you guys before, but I'm doing
Ho'oponopono?
Yes, the word that I can't say. I'm doing a certification course. So,
oh, wow.
I'm halfway done with that, and I've been working on that, and it was just I had a really good week. Diving into this chapter was like for you guys who weren't on last week, this week we wanted to start talking about chapter 27 of the text, the healing of the dream, and it is a doozy.
It really is. I was telling Breia, like, guys, I think this would take longer than one show. Like, I was highlighting everything in my little electronic version.
Yeah, and I didn't even get to go back and take the note because it's quite a long chapter for the book. It's like 23 pages or something. So I didn't even go through and take all the notes that I wanted to because I just wanted to read it first and then go back through it slower and start making my notes.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't get through the second part because I'm still in transition and moving and get my place together and selling things. So it's a really, really busy week for me. So I didn't get to really dive into it like I wanted to, but it's definitely a really meaty chapter.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Some of the, like the foundational principles of A Course in Miracles, like Jesus really just preaches them. And like sometimes I've found it, kind of like hard to take, but I couldn't deny what he was saying. It was just like the rawness of the truth of it.
Yes.
It's really profound.
We talked about it last week about how blunt he gets in the course. And this was definitely one of those chapters where it's like the truth just hits you in the face.
Oh, yeah.
No chaser.
Yeah, especially the last two sections, guys, the dreamer of the dream and the healing of the dreaming of the dream, the dreamer of the dream and the hero of the dream, where Jesus just really lays out what the world is and what the body is. And yeah, I read it for the first time I read it, not the first time, but like in preparation for the show. I read it yesterday, and yes, I had to go over everything that I highlighted today, which was a lot. And I think we're going to go do it section by section tonight, guys. So yeah, it was a lot to take in. And today, as I was going over it, like what I had highlighted, I really, like, I understood some of it at a much deeper level, like a lot of it. I'm like, I read this passage yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think my subconscious didn't quite want to accept it, but that happens with the course. And you read it 10 times and find something new every time.
Yeah, my mom has been saying that for years. Every time she reads it, she gets something new out of it, because I think it's just all about where your level of awareness is at the time, what all you can comprehend and take in at that particular moment.
Yeah.
So with this may be a hard chapter for some people to follow, like if you're new to the course or if you are beginning the course. It is chapter 27, so it is put a little bit further back in the text for a reason. I think all the chapters kind of in front of it kind of help lead you up to get to this point. So if you guys do have any questions or you have any trouble kind of following, with what we're going through tonight, it's okay. It's you might just kind of need to start back at the beginning and just kind of take it little by little until, because this one is really about accepting the truth of what he's saying. You just might not be there yet, and that's okay. So I don't want you to feel like overwhelmed with the information or even, like it's too advanced or anything for you, because and we'll try to keep it simple and simplify it down to make it easy for everybody to understand. Was there anything else you wanted to say regarding it before we dived in?
Yeah, I think it's page 565 of the text.
Now, for those that don't know, Lydia follows the Kindle version.
Yeah.
And I follow the physical book. But in the physical book, it is 565.
Although I do have my handy course book right here. And I just posted online in the Facebook group, guys, the link to the online version so you can follow along that way. And then with the online version, to get to the next section as we go, like section by section, you would just click the forward link at the bottom. So like section 2 would be where it says chapter 27, the fear of healing, and so on and so on.
I am just typing in the Facebook group, letting people know that we're live on YouTube. I saw Yvette like the post, and to Jackie as well. So, alrighty. Okay, girlfriend, I'm ready whenever.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There was so much I had highlighted. So, I guess let's just dive into it. I think the first section here, the picture of the crucifixion.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to read like those first few sections.
The whole things.
Yeah. The wish to be, the picture of the crucifixion and the wish to be unfairly treated. Because you see this as if you look closely, you'll find like this is everybody's like modus operandi. Did I use that right? Like this is at the bottom of what everyone does. Like when we feel unfairly treated or when we feel like a victim in some way, I often wonder like why is it so easy for us to feel like a victim or to be victimized by somebody or to see others that way, to see the world as far as in that dualistic way, victims and victimizers, like always. We may victimize somebody else. Why is it so easy? Why do we perceive like that? And so this really goes into the real purpose of the victim-victimizer trap that we all seem to fall into. And why would somebody want to be a victim?
Yeah. The guilt and shame they feel of the separation, and they don't recognize where it comes from. And
yeah. So I'm going to read I think the first, like up to up to the fourth paragraph there. Okay, so this is quite heavy, guys, so get ready. Okay, the wish to be unfairly treated is a compromise attempt that would combine attack and innocence. Who can combine the wholly incompatible and make a unity of what can never join? Walk you the gentle way, and you will fear no evil and no shadows in the night. But place no terror symbols on your path, or you will weave a crown of thorns from which your brother and yourself will not escape. You cannot crucify yourself alone. And if you are unfairly treated, he must suffer the unfairness that you see. You cannot sacrifice yourself alone, for sacrifice is total. If it could occur at all, it would entail the whole of God's creation, and the Father with the sacrifice of his beloved Son. And your release from sacrifice is his made manifest and shown to be his own. But every pain you suffer, do you see as proof that he is guilty of attack? Thus, would you make yourself to be the sign that he has lost his innocence and need but look on you to realize that he has been condemned? And what to you has been unfair will come to him in righteousness. The unjust vengeance that you suffer now belongs to him. And when it rests on him, are you set free? Wish not to make yourself a living symbol of his guilt, for you will not escape the death you made for him. But in his innocence, you find your own. Whenever you consent to suffer pain, to be deprived, unfairly treated, or in need of anything, you but accuse your brother of attack upon God's Son. You hold a picture of your crucifixion before his eyes, that he may see his sins are written in heaven and your blood in death, and go before him, closing off the gate and damning him to hell. Yet this is written in hell and not in heaven, where you are beyond attack and prove his innocence. The picture of yourself you offer him, you show yourself and give it all your faith. The Holy Spirit offers you to give to him a picture of yourself in which there is no pain and no reproach at all. And what was martyred to his guilt becomes the perfect witness to his innocence. The power of witness is beyond belief because it brings conviction in its wake. The witness is believed because he points beyond himself to what he represents. A sick and suffering you but represents your brother's guilt. The witness that you send, lest he forget the injuries he gave, from which you swear he never will escape. This sick and sorry picture you accept, if only it can serve to punish him. The sick are merciless to everyone, and in contagion do they seek to kill. Death seems an easy price if they can say, "Behold me, brother, at your hand I die." For sickness is the witness to his guilt, and death would prove his errors must be sins. Sickness is but a little death, a form of vengeance not yet total, yet it speaks with certainty for what it represents. The bleak and bitter picture you have sent your brother, you have looked upon in grief, and everything that it has shown to him have you believed, because it witnessed to the guilt in him which you perceived and loved. And just the next couple of sentences. Now in the hands made gentle by his touch, the Holy Spirit lays a picture of a different you. It is a picture of a body still, for what you really are cannot be seen nor pictured. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, I think.
Yeah.
Although really, no. although really the like the message of the course is simple. Like Jesus, like a course in miracles is almost 1,400 pages because we have to be told that much. Because there's so much resistance in us. But okay, so being unfairly treated. There's another part of the course that says, beware the temptation to perceive yourself unfairly treated, which, is so easy for us to do. But Jesus says that because when we perceive ourselves unfairly treated or victimized in any way, we are actually victimizing our brother who we're accusing. And just to touch on, the origins of the world, per A Course in Miracles, like there's just one. The truth is that there's just oneness. There's just God and God's creations of pure love and light. There is no individuality in heaven. It's just this abstract oneness, which we, in the state that we are in now, we can't really understand. And according to the Course, God creates, and then God's creations create, and so on and so on and so on, even though they're really all one. But there was a part of creation that had a thought. What would it be like if I was on my own, if I could separate from God? And so we felt, at that point, we felt this what the Course calls Christ, the collective Son of God, sort of fell into this dream, into this deep dream that they had successfully separated from God, which would mean the death of God, and that we sank into the dream fell into the dream of separation and individuality. And of course, to do that, we would have had to have killed God, which with that comes a lot of guilt. And just think about, in real life, no one likes to feel guilty. Like no one wants to admit that they're the one who did wrong. And so what we tend to do is, even without being fully conscious of it, we tend to project it out onto someone else. Well, that's what the world is. The world is a massive fragmentation of God's one Son, and then a projection outward in order to, and the reason that we see a fearful, guilty world is because all that guilt that we felt at the beginning from the supposed separation from God, which never really happened, it's all being projected out onto a world out there, with us being the innocent ones and innocent and at the mercy of the world. And so
it's through the ego, it's kind of like we crucify ourselves and make everybody else seem like the guilty ones, or at least that's how it appears in our mind.
But we're not aware that we're crucifying ourselves, because with projection, you've denied what you are. So even though there's only one ego appearing as many, or the one Son appearing as many, we don't remember that. We don't remember this correction. And so we think we're all separate. And so we use that separation, we use that perceived separation to reinforce the idea that a separation happened. So if you can be, so if in heaven there's only oneness, there's only God and there's only love, then that's all that can be experienced. But if you can be hurt in any way, if there can be change in the world, if you can be hurt in any way, if you can be a victim, if you can be sick, upset for any reason, then what that's doing is it testifies that the separation happened, that God is dead and we successfully separated from God, which the Course says never happened. So that's the world's secret dream. That's why we see a world of danger, and we perceive ourselves as, again, being at the mercy of that world. And so when we believe that we can be a victim of someone, or
like we're
something,
weak
you know, it can be a germ
or yeah.
Yeah, a disease or something. Or when we perceive ourselves as unfairly treated, what we're really doing is we are using our brother, like we are using our brother as, we're throwing the guilt out onto our brother or onto another person. We think we're doing that, but again, when it said that you cannot escape the trap, the death trap that you set for your brother, well, the reason that you can't escape it is because there's only one of us here.
So everything you project on your brother, you're really doing to yourself, whether you recognize it or not.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what the Course is saying. Yeah, it's really one big con game. And it's crazy to think like when you accuse somebody else of being victimized, you're actually victimizing them. So yeah. In reality, like we're still in heaven, guys, and we cannot be hurt in any way. But to believe, when we believe that we can here in the world, then we're doing that because we want the separation to be real. We want the individual self that we think we are to be real. But as the Course says, as Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, that it's really impossible. Anything else, Breia, on that part that you got?
No, not between 1 and 5. I think we're good there.
Yeah. I've rambled on quite a lot about that, but it really touched me. Like it was, behold me, brother, at your hand I die. You know, that's the underlying motive in all of our relationships. Like when you think you need something from somebody else, because we're actually, like, everything we truly need is inside of us, right? But when we think we need anything outside of us, and Jesus even says, you know, breathing is an example of feeling like we need something outside of us. Because if we don't breathe in and out, like we feel like we'll die. And what are we doing? We feel like we have to take important like things outside of it. We need to take from outside of ourselves to be whole. And what that does is it reinforces that, you know, I'm dependent, I'm separate, I'm weak, everything that, and you wonder, why would we want to do that? But in order to be an individual, in order to be separate from God, you have to be what God is not. And right. So when we are able to demonstrate that we are weak or we are in need of something outside of ourselves, then we are reinforcing that the separation happened. And also we get to blame our brother. We throw the guilt out on some situation that we contrived in the dream. And not, when I'm talking about contrived in the dream, I'm not talking about the you that you think you are. This is the higher self that A Course in Miracles is really aimed at. But yeah, that's the reason that we do that. So we can have our cake and eat it too. You know, we get to be separate individuals, but we don't have to take the blame for it. So that's what Jesus says that's what Jesus means when he says, you know, in your guilt, you close the gate of heaven on your brother. So you did it, not me. Anything else?
No, not on that part.
Okay. Yeah. So, also those last two sentences, now in the hands made gentle by his touch, the Holy Spirit lays a picture of a different you. It is a picture of a body still, for what you really are cannot be seen nor pictured. That's, you know, sort of leading the way to say we are so deep in the dream, we have no memory of who we really are as God's son, as pure spirit. And so this is Jesus, you know, sort of leading the way to saying that we have to what we have to do is, instead of, because the mind is split, the mind is dual, and from a dual split mind, an insane mind, you get the world of multiplicity, as the Hindus call it. So Jesus is saying, don't think with the wrong side of the mind, which is the ego. You have to choose the Holy Spirit and choose to see with the Holy Spirit's vision, and He'll help replace the picture of your picture of a fearful world, which we all see. We all believe in, death and violence and pain and murder and all this crazy stuff that's going on out here. The Holy Spirit will help you to see it in a different way. He'll change your perspective.
So it's, for me, how I always think of it is, the ego side of the mind causes you to see guilt, then the Holy Spirit shows you the innocence.
Yes.
So you can, think Holy Spirit, innocence, ego, guilt. And that's a good way to know what you're seeing from those different perspectives.
And so part of what Jesus really points out here is that you, in order to see the innocence in yourself, what you have to do is you have to see it in others, which is not so easy, because, it's always everybody else that's the problem, right? Not always, but we tend
I actually wanted to read that one part in section 5. We didn't go that far, but I really like that line. And it's talking about
the rest of it.
Yeah, just the one little sentence, where it's talking about the Holy Spirit. And it says, it witnesses to the eternal truth that you cannot be hurt, and points beyond itself to both your innocence and His. Here is the proof that He has never sinned, that nothing which His madness bid Him do was ever done or ever had effects of any kind. And it's talking about your brother, the relationship with your brother.
And guys, that's everybody else.
Anybody.
All the other
any perceived other people that you come into contact with.
Especially the ones that you can't stand. There are no levels. Everyone is the same, but it tends to be hard for us to see
innocent
certain other people as innocent when we've there's that big victimizer thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So just taking off from that, let's go on with reading that. So that last sentence in paragraph 5, that no reproach He laid upon His heart was ever justified, and no attack can ever touch Him with the poisoned and relentless sting of fear. Paragraph 6, attest His innocence and not His guilt. Your healing is His comfort and His health, because it proves illusions are not true. It is not will for life, but wish for death that is the motivation for this world. Its only purpose is to prove guilt real. No worldly thought or act or feeling has a motivation other than this one. These are the witnesses that are called forth to be believed, and lend conviction to the system that they speak for and represent. And each has many voices, speaking to your brother and yourself in different tongues. And yet to both the message is the same. Adornment of the body seeks to show how lovely are the witnesses for guilt. Concerns about the body demonstrate how frail and vulnerable is your life, how easily destroyed is what you love. Depression speaks of death, and vanity of real concern with anything at all. And I just want to read that next sentence. The strongest witness to futility that bolsters all the rest and helps them paint the picture in which sin is justified is sickness in whatever form it takes. So that was pretty deep, especially the part, it really stood out to me when Jesus said the only purpose of the world, the reason that we made the world, is to prove that guilt was real.
Right. That's why we have our bodies and all of those things, because they enforce the separation.
Yeah.
They enforce that we're separate, not just from God, but from each other.
Yeah. And, you know, we have bodies that that are stuck in time and that age and that can die. If I can die, then that proves that God is real, because a pure spirit can never die, can never be destroyed. You know, love is all there is. And it's constant. It doesn't change. It doesn't transform in any way. But you see, this is a world of change, right? Everything changes every second here. And so the reason that we design the world that way is because, again, to be separate from God, we have to be the opposite of what he is. There are no changes in heaven, no separation, no individuality. It's just pure oneness. But this is a world of constant change and multiplicity. And it's just the complete opposite of what God is. So yeah, the world was made to prove guilt real. No worldly thought or act or feeling has a motivation other than this one. And that's what it is. Anything else there?
No, we can move on.
Okay. So I like paragraph 9, and I wanted to read that one. This here, this paragraph actually is Jesus going into like the correct perception of the body, because we think the body is everything. Like our lives are centered around this body, this self that we feel we are, right? So every waking moment of our life, we have to clothe the body, shelter the body, feed the body, you know, do all this stuff. You have to constantly, it takes a lot of upkeep. You know what? It takes a lot of energy to live. You know, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we're always focused on me, this body, and me. You know, sort of reinforcing that ego identification, right? When we do that. But here Jesus goes into like the proper perception of the body. So I'm on paragraph 9, guys. Your function is to show your brother sin can have no cause. How futile must it be to see yourself a picture of the proof that what your function is can never be. The Holy Spirit's picture changes not the body into something it is not. It only takes away from it all signs of accusation and of blamefulness. Pictured without a purpose, it is seen as neither sick nor well, nor bad nor good. No grounds are offered that it may be judged in any way at all. It has no life, but neither is it dead. It stands apart from all experience of love or fear. For now it witnesses to nothing yet, its purpose being open, and the mind made free again to choose what it is for. Now is it not condemned, but waiting for a purpose to be given, that it may fulfill the function that it will receive. And also, let's go into part 10 here. Into this empty space from which the goal of sin has been removed is heaven free to be remembered. Here its peace can come, and perfect healing takes the place of death. The body can become a sign of life, a promise of redemption, and a breath of immortality to those grown sick of breathing in the fetid scent of death. Yeah, so, what did you get from that, Breia?
From paragraph 9 and 10, for me, it kind of broke down what happens when you kind of choose the Holy Spirit side of the mind, and things are healed, because it takes it back to where you're seeing innocence instead of always seeing guilt. And it so that to me is kind of what it kind of shows you, like the Holy Spirit's purpose of the body, as opposed to using the ego's purpose of the body to reinforce separation, to show guilt and shame, and keep you separate from God, keep you separate from your brother. This is sort of kind of seeing it from the other way, like the Holy Spirit's picture.
Yeah, I love that part about picture without a purpose.
Yeah.
Picture without a purpose. The body is free from the meanings that we give it. And once we've emptied the mind, then the Holy Spirit is free to fill it with his vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was like section 9 and 10 kind of and it goes on. We didn't read the rest of it, but it's let it have healing as its purpose.
Yeah.
Then will it send forth the message it received, and by its health and loveliness proclaim the truth and value that it represents. Let it receive the power to represent an endless life, forever unattacked. And to your brother, let its message be, behold me, brother, at your hand I live. As opposed to earlier where it was by your hand I die. Yeah. So this is like the flip side when you choose the Holy Spirit instead of the ego.
Absolutely. Well, I want to move into part 2, the fear of healing.
We can.
Yeah. So this like the whole chapter,
pretty big section. So we may only get through half of it because I think the section was like, this like is 16 paragraphs in it. So
like this is such an important chapter of the course. I mean, it's all important, but I love this chapter. You get gems, like there are gems just dropped off throughout it. So yeah. So section 2, the fear of healing. So I'll just go ahead and read that first paragraph. Is healing frightening? To many, yes. For accusation is a bar to love, and damaged bodies are accusers. They stand firmly in the way of trust and peace, proclaiming that the frail can have no trust and that the damaged have no grounds for peace. Who has been injured by his brother and could love and trust him still? He has attacked and will attack again. Protect him not, because your damaged body shows that you must be protected from him. To forgive may be an act of charity, but not his due. He may be pitied for his guilt, but not exonerated. And if you forgive him his transgressions, you but add to all the guilt that he has really earned. So just to let you guys know, like the reason that we have bodies, to say it again, is like bodies are a projection of separation, right? Bodies have limits. It's a limit on that oneness that is love. Bodies are limits on love, and everything here has a body and a shape. And like wanting to be writing a story in which someone was sick, like a body was sick, it seems to be like so crazy. Like, why would anyone do that? Well, the reason for sickness, which Jesus goes into here, is that it affirms that the separation happened, and we get to throw it for sickness and to be a victim. It affirms the separation happened, right? Because if I can be sick, if I can be victimized in any way by someone else, then the separation happened. And again, we use that to again attack our brother and hold him as the guilty one. Because look at what you did to me. Like, that's what we would say, right? Look at what you did to me. That throws the guilt on him and keeps the separation in place, or the dream of separation in place, because we're really not separate. And again, the world's idea of forgiveness, which Jesus goes into here, is we forgive, but we do, we still affirm that you did something, that your brother did something to you. And so in part 2, Jesus says, the unhealed cannot pardon, for they are the witnesses that pardon is unfair. They would retain the consequences of the guilt they overlook. Yet no one can forgive a sin that he believes is real. So if we believe that someone did something to us in the world, then we really can't forgive them. That's not true forgiveness.
Yeah, it goes on to say, and what has consequences must be real, because what it has done is there to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just reading the rest of it. Who can say and mean, my brother, you have injured me, and yet because I am the better of the two, I pardon you my hurt. His pardon and your hurt cannot exist together. One denies the other and must make it false.
And we talked about that in previous shows too.
Oh, yeah.
How different the Course teaches about forgiveness than what we've been taught about forgiveness. Forgiveness is the way we're taught here. You did me wrong, but I'm not going to dwell on it or hold it against you anymore. That's what forgiveness is to us. Where the Course is more like when a bank forgives a loan, it just wipes it away. It's, clear. It never happened. Like it's,
Yeah. When we look at it, when we look at it, I was just going to say, when we look at it with the Holy Spirit's vision, he helps us to see that what your brother did, like what you thought your brother did, never occurred in the first place.
Right.
This is a dream of separation. And that's true forgiveness, overlooking the form to the true content that's there.
Mm-hmm. It's like right in the beginning, in the preface, when it says nothing real can be threatened.
Yeah.
And nothing unreal exists.
Yeah.
So basically everything you're taught in the Course just reinforces that principle. And because people say, oh, okay, I can believe that. But then they get caught up in, but he did this to me. And he did that. Yeah. Well, if nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal can exist, then nothing that you perceived was being done to you was ever done.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or otherwise,
Yeah. Okay, so paragraph 3 is really powerful too. I just want to read that. To witness sin and yet forgive it is a paradox that reason cannot see, for it maintains what has been done to you deserves no pardon. And by giving it, you grant your brother mercy, but retain the proof he is not really innocent. The sick remain accusers. They cannot forgive their brothers and themselves as well. For no one in whom true forgiveness rests can suffer. He holds not the proof of sin before his brother's eyes, and thus he must have overlooked it and removed it from his own. Forgiveness cannot be for one and not the other. Who forgives is healed, and in his healing lies the proof that he has truly pardoned and retains no trace of condemnation that he still would hold against himself or any living thing. So that's Jesus saying that when the mind is healed, you cannot suffer. Like it's literally impossible.
And it's like in Ho'oponopono, the word that I can't say.
Yes.
That everything that you perceive in other people, you heal in yourself first, and then everyone benefits from it. So there's no out there. It's just healing your mind, basically clearing those memories or the data or the information.
Yeah. The world is a physical symbol, a physical projection of what we have seen inside of ourselves and made real. So the thought of separation, we made that real, and then it's projected outwards, and voila, a world. So I was going to jump to paragraph 5 here. A broken body shows the mind has not been healed. A miracle of healing proves that separation is without effect. What you would prove to him, you will believe. The power of witness comes from your belief. and everything you say or do or think, but testifies to what you teach to him. Your body can be means to teach that it has never suffered pain because of him. And in its healing, can it offer him mute testimony of his innocence? It is this testimony that can speak with power greater than 1,000 tongues. For here is his forgiveness proved to him. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And that's Jesus saying that, again, in order to like get in touch with our own innocence, we have to see it in our brother. We have to see it in other people.
Right.
And looking beyond the form of separation and what they appear to do in the dream, what they appear to do in the script of the dream, looking beyond that and reflecting and being a reflection of his true state, which is spirit, is what will heal your brother and yourself. Yeah. It's really incredible.
Yeah, it is.
It is. I'm just thinking of when you're in a car on the freeway and like somebody cuts you off. We have to remember this, guys. The content beyond the form.
Those are the moments too when we get there.
Yeah. It's just okay. So let me go into paragraph 6, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to start from the part that says, "Brother, there is no death." You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brother, there is no death. And this you learn when you but wish to show your brother that you had no hurt of him. He thinks your blood is on his hands, and so he stands condemned. Yet it is given you to show him by your healing that his guilt is but the fabric of a senseless dream. How just are miracles, for they bestow an equal gift of full deliverance from guilt upon your brother and yourself. Your healing saves him pain as well as you, and you are healed because you wished him well. This is the law the miracle obeys, that healing sees no specialness at all. It does not come from pity, but from love. And love would prove all suffering is but a vain imagining, a foolish wish with no effects. Your health is a result of your desire to see your brother with no blood upon his hands, nor guilt upon his heart, made heavy with the proof of sin. And what you wish is given you to see. In the next sentence, oh my God, the cost of your serenity is his. So powerful. I love it. The cost of your peace is your brother's peace.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be, that reflection of peace by choosing the Holy Spirit out in the world. And so in that reflection, like our brothers will be able to see their own peace.
So as long as you condemn, you will never have peace. And not even just condemn and make guilty, even pity. As long as you feel pity for somebody's situation or because they're sick or whatever, you'll never have peace.
Yeah. Yeah, because again, we reinforce that the separation had happened.
Yep.
Because somebody can only be sick in the dream of the world, in the dream of separation. Yeah. This is another part that I love. And this also shows, guys, why people deep down fear healing. Because a sick body, again, testifies that I exist. I'm an individual. There is a world. I did separate. And then we can use it. We can use it as a symbol, and that we're the victim of somebody else. And when I say a sick body, and I think when the Course talks about a sick body, that can be mentally or physically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just talking. A sick mind is really what it's talking about, too. I mean, a sick body, it says sick body, but it can be, mentally as well, psychologically. Okay, so paragraph 10. I love this part. When Jesus so kindly tells us to let go. Like, we don't know what we're doing. So paragraph 10, guys, correction is not your function. It belongs to one who knows of fairness, not of guilt. If you assume correction's role, you lose the function of forgiveness. No one can forgive until he learns correction is but to forgive and never to accuse. Alone, you cannot see they are the same, and therefore is correction, not of you. Yeah. Identity and function are the same, and by your function do you know yourself. And thus, if you confuse your function with the function of another, you must be confused about yourself and who you are. What is the separation but a wish to take God's function from him and deny that it is his? Yet if it is not his, it is not yours, for you must lose what you would take away. Yeah, so I might as well just read the next paragraph. In a split mind, identity must seem to be divided, nor can anyone perceive a function unified which has conflicting purposes and different ends. Correction to a mind so split must be a way to punish sins you think are yours in someone else. And thus does he become your victim, not your brother, different from you in that he is more guilty, thus in need of your correction as the one more innocent than he. This splits his function off from yours and gives you both a different role. And so you cannot be perceived as one. And with a single function, that would mean a shared identity with but one end. Now, I just want to read the next two sentences of the paragraph 12. Correction you would do must separate because that is the function given it by you. When you perceive correction is the same as pardon, then you also know the Holy Spirit's mind and yours are one. And so your own identity is found. So guys, as long as we think we are, as long as we're thinking with the ego and we're out here trying to correct somebody, we're doing more harm than good. Because this is Jesus telling us that we don't understand correction, what true correction is, because we make the error real. We make sin real when we go out there trying to correct. You know what it reminds me of, Breia? It reminds me of that quote from the Bible about how people go around talking about the speck in their brother's eye, perceiving it as a log in their own. Mm-hmm. So that's basically what we're doing when we go out there trying to correct with the ego.
We talked about this before. Who are we to judge? Who do we judge? And if we think we need to correct someone, that is us judging. You know what I mean? We don't have all the information.
And did you see how he said, when you judge and perceive yourself as knowing more than your brother, you make him less than you, and therefore your victim. Oh my God.
Yep. We're innocent, they're guilty.
Yeah. So powerful, guys. Yeah, I'm just looking through.
We might want to stop there for tonight. Yeah. We're an hour in, and then we can do the other half next week. So we'll continue on with this chapter, guys. It might be 2 more shows worth of material here. Mm-hmm. We'll see how it goes. But again, that's the chapter 27 of the text, the healing of the dream. And because we still got about 18 pages to go through, or 17. So probably at least 2 more shows on this chapter.
I can't wait till we get to the dreamer of the dream and the hero of the dream. Because guys, Jesus just goes in.
So So yeah, if you want to read those chapters with us, again, it's chapter 27. In the text, if you have the physical book, it starts page 565. I know the Kindle version is always a little bit different. It's usually a few pages before. So that's the healing of the dream. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, you can put them on the YouTube channel. You can put them in the Facebook group, which is Returning to Love Show. You can email us at returningtoloveshow@gmail.com. And did you have anything else you wanted to say before we end?
We are planning to be much more active in the group, guys, just to let you know.
Okay, so yeah, the Facebook group, if you're on Facebook and you want to join us there, you can go to facebook.com/groups/returning to love show. And you can join us in there. You can see all our previous videos in there. You can write us comments. You can share any content that you've run across, ask any questions. And yes, we're going to be more active and involved in that. So we hope to see you guys there. Same time next week.
And we're working on interviews, guys. Getting interviews with.
Let's talk about that next week once we have it all squared away. But okay, guys. See you next Sunday. Thanks for tuning in.
Much love.